Hi, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, this is a channel about D.I.D, which is known as Dissociative Identity Disorder. I'm the significant other. She's the one with D.I.D. Which system name is Plexus for any of you who are curious about that? Well, today's video is, about driving. Woo. The one thing we all feared when we were a teenager.
Feared or couldn't wait for.
More or less our parents were afraid of. I couldn't wait to drive myself, but I almost gave my grandpa a heart attack in the process. I just went, that was my sister. My bad.
Which was? Giving your grandpa a heart attack or giving your sister a heart attack?
No, my sister was the one that almost gave my grandpa a heart attack. Which I believe was his second heart. Would have been his second one. Oh, his first. I don't know. But anyways. Enough talking about my relatives, I guess, right now.
Oh, well, we ain't talking about mine today. I can promise you that. Driving. Yeah. So, how driving works for us is that okay. It depends on the day. It depends on our mental health. Sometimes we are too dissociated to feel safe driving. Sometimes, even through our dissociation, we will be just fine driving because we have an alter, a part, named driver, who is specifically there to drive the body under other conditions in which we otherwise are incapable of driving ourselves. And we don't have the best communication with her yet, but we're working on it still. And so we can't always benefit from her help. However, and this is very dependent from system to system. Not everyone is going to have an alter that can specialize in driving. And so it has to do with our anxiety. It has to do with our depression. Do we feel mentally well enough to drive? Are our emotions in check? Basically, is there a part out who would not be safe to drive a vehicle in that moment, on that day? There's a lot of distracting noises around me, I'm sorry. And so a lot of times we won't drive. A lot of times we will ask for assistance in driving. We will ask someone else to drive us. Or we will simply choose to stay in or to walk if we're able to, instead to a location. Generally, we won't take the bus just because our mental health.
Yeah,
we could.
Could be an interesting show.
Yeah. Hey.
Depending on what part comes out.
I take offense to that. God, this guy. But no, we choose, sorry. We choose either to drive or not to drive based on our current mental health and our awakeness and how our body is feeling. Perhaps we're in too much pain, or we're too fucking exhausted to drive. We're not going to drive then, because not that we fear that we would fall asleep, but we fear that our attention would not be appropriately placed on the road and on the car as it should be. And obviously that is the goal. We don't want to get in an accident. We don't want to harm anyone. We don't want to get harmed. So it's about protecting everyone, not just ourselves, but everyone else around us. To make that determination And there have been times where I thought I would be okay to drive, and we started driving and went with, no, this isn't going to work. And either asked to switch places with someone else, if someone else, either internally, externally, or we just went home. And we stayed inside, and we said, okay, I got my one little trip in, I did the thing, I got my exercise for the day, or my, you know, amount of sun or whatever. And then I swiftly made my way home where I could be safer. Honestly, yeah, there's really not too much to this video. I'm sorry, it's a lot of repetition for me. Because it's kind of as simple as that for me. Sometimes if we're driving, we will have multiple parts drive at the same time. We will have someone focus on watching the road while another person is listening around us. Another person is focusing on the wheel while another person is working on the gas.
And then the radio.
That would be listening. And that can be quite beneficial for us as well, as long as we have that communication. If we have communication blocks up and we're not able to have that co-consciousness while we are confronting, then we're not going to do that, because then we could be out of sync, and that could be, again, dangerous to ourselves or others while we're on the road, and we're going to avoid that.
She is a very good driver, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and we have parts that are very good drivers, that are particularly better than others. And another thing for us with driving is that we try to avoid letting the young ones out while we are driving. Sometimes they slip through and they may have a conversation with someone, but even then, but even then, we make an effort to not
have them fully fronted.
Right. They are not allowed to front in full and be the only one present, because even if they have the capability to drive, we have a rule, and I've heard of many other systems having this rule as well, that we would prefer that only adult alters or teenage alters drive. We want to make sure that they are safe and sane, and they have the mental capacity, the mental understanding, rather, of the practice of driving. And awareness to do so. That's a safety thing, again. So, sure, they might come out and make a comment or something, but there's always one of us sitting there watching and paying attention to the road and driving for them. They are not driving, and if they get too distracted, they get too front, we will cut them off. We will switch them back inside, because that's not, we don't want that. We don't want them getting distracted. And if we are so dissociated, or if we start to have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, which has happened, absolutely, we'll pull over where it is next safest. We will get off the highway if we are on the highway, and we will pull into maybe a gas station or a parking lot of some sort, and we'll wait it out for a little while until we can gather ourselves enough to get ourselves safely to our next destination. And that's really all I have to say on that. So, thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments, concerns, shots of despair, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Don't if you absolutely hated it. I mean, you know, I think that should be fair to say. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I like this guy's videos. I don't know, I'm a little partial, but, you know, maybe you'll like them too. Take a look.
I like them too. They've been helping us.
Yeah, it's a good way to communicate.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you guys later.